Welcome to the Your Business on Purpose podcast, the ultimate resource for women business owners looking to confidently navigate their entrepreneurial journey while upholding their principles. I'm Dawnette Palmore, your host and fellow entrepreneur. Join me as we immerse ourselves in illuminating conversations with accomplished experts spanning various fields across the business spectrum. Together, we'll unearth strategic insights into seizing opportunities and ensuring that your business is equipped with the essential elements aligned with your purpose and values. Okay, have you ever had one of those months where your business made really good money, and at the end of the month, you found yourself wondering, where did it all go? Or maybe you've caught yourself saying something like, if I could just get a few more clients, or if I could just make another $10,000, everything would be okay. I have told myself these things, and I hear these things all the time from business owners. And honestly, it really does make sense because that's what we've been taught to believe. We think cash flow problems are an income problem. But what if they actually are not? What if cash flow isn't really about how much money you're making? What if it's about the decisions you're making with the money you already have coming in? Welcome back to Your Business on Purpose podcast. I am your host, Dawnette Palmore. I am a fractional CFO, money coach, and insurance strategist. And I've worked with business owners making, 5 figures, 6 figures, and multiple 6 figures. Here's something I've learned. Making more money doesn't automatically create healthy cash flow. I've seen businesses making $20,000 plus a month, consistently stressed about money. I'm sorry, I should say constantly stressed about money. And I've seen businesses making half that amount that were stable, profitable, sleeping well at night. And you're probably thinking, well, if I had that amount of money, I would be fine. But let's talk about this. Let's walk through this, right? Okay? It's not about how much. It's not about math. It's about decisions. And today we're going to talk about why cash flow is really a decision problem, the decisions that have the biggest impact on your business, and how making just a few different choices can completely change the way your business feels financially. So grab your coffee or your drink or whatever, or if you're driving, please just pay attention to what you're doing. Take a breath and let's dive in. So let's start with something I tell my clients all the time. Cash flow doesn't just happen. It's actually created. Every single dollar that comes into your business needs to have a job. The question isn't whether enough money came in. The question is whether you gave those dollars the right job. Okay, let's think about this. Let's talk this through. When money comes into your account, you're making decisions immediately, right? You're probably thinking, what bills get paid? Can I pay myself? Can I buy new equipment? Can I hire someone? Do I invest it in marketing, in new equipment, in this or that? Every single one of those is a decision. And decisions determine whether your business feels financially healthy or financially stressful. That's why I do not believe cash flow is a simple math problem. We've talked about this before, right? It's a leadership problem and it's a decision problem. So my question would be, something for you to ponder is, do I spend based on emotion or strategy? And we probably don't really want to think of it this way, but we should, right? Because when I first start working with people, I want to say most of their decisions are emotional decisions. This person called, I got to pay this bill. Oh, this person called, I got to pay this. This is due, I got to pay. Everything's very emotional because finances are emotional. I mean, we're just going to be real with that. And then let me say this, when we are stressed, when we're under stress, our emotions are heightened. And from experience, it makes our decisions a little bit worse, right? I don't know how many decisions I have made under stress that I regret. So when we think about this, when you're going to make a decision about your money, where it's going, what you're spending it on, do you stop and say, is this emotion or strategy? When we have really good months, weeks, whatever it is, the money hits our account, right? And we're thinking, I deserve a new laptop. or I've been wanting that software, or I think it's time to hire. I've worked hard, I earned this. And there's nothing wrong at all with investing in yourself or in your business. And if you listen to my podcast, those two things are very necessary. We do have to invest in ourselves and we have to invest in our business. But the question is, are you making that decision because it's the next right step, or because you just feel it, or because you just see a big bank balance that made you feel like you had more money than you actually do? When people say, oh, I'm having a $10,000 month, can I really just be, I guess, honest? Because that's what we do here on this podcast, is we're honest. $10,000 a month really isn't that much money. But we hear all these people saying 10,000 a month, 10,000 a month. Think about, and here's what happens, right? Oh my gosh, $10,000. Wow. What can I do with this? This is so much money. And then the next month hits and we're thinking, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have spent all that money. I should have. So I want to help you avoid those should haves, those regrets, because money coming in doesn't mean it's available to spend. Some of it belongs to taxes. If you're not running a payroll with a payroll company, you owe taxes. Some of it belongs to payroll if you have employees, right? Some of it belongs to future expenses, savings. So, and on and on. I mean, we can make a whole list of what this could belong to. So before you spend, I want you to ask yourself, is this helping my business grow, or am I reacting to a good month? That is something I'd love for you to ponder the next time you see a big deposit in your account, whatever that looks like to you. Is this helping my business grow, or am I reacting to a good month? Okay, so the next question is, am I spending tomorrow's money today? Okay, this kind of goes hand in hand with what I've been talking about, right? This one gets a lot of business owners in trouble. And I would say also in personal finances as well. So maybe you've said something to yourself like, I'll buy it now because I know more clients are coming, or I'll hire now because business is picking up. Maybe more clients are coming. Maybe they aren't. One of the hardest lessons of business is learning not to spend money you haven't earned yet. And this goes even in our personal. So we don't want to say this is coming, right? Because healthy businesses make decisions based on today's facts, not tomorrow's possibility. Now, do we project? Do we plan? Yes, all of those things. But we don't spend the money that's not there, that has not appeared yet, that hasn't been documented yet, as we talked about 2 episodes ago. We do not want to do that, because that will lead us into debt. That will lead us into more problems. We don't want to spend money we don't have, right? So then we say something like, am I trying to solve every problem with money? This is a question to ask yourself. Am I trying to solve every problem with money? With money. So, let's say sales are slow. So we think, let's spend some money on advertising. Things feel disorganized. Let's buy another software program. We're overwhelmed. Let's hire. Sometimes money is the answer. Absolutely. But sometimes the real issue is systems. There's several clients that I have coached through and worked through hiring someone, what that looks like, what that means. Can they afford it? Yes, things might be overwhelmed, but maybe it's not the right time to hire someone, because with that comes so much more responsibility, right? We have payroll taxes, we have insurance, and then you have the burden of the fact that they have a family. And if things slow down, do you let them go? Like, that's probably a whole another podcast on hiring someone. So how many times have you bought a software program or a piece of equipment thinking this is going to make things easier, faster, and it never does? You never figure it out, or you just don't ever look at it. You don't use it. I don't know how many programs I have bought that I thought, okay, this is the answer. I never even looked at it. So when things like this happen, I should probably do a whole nother podcast on this. Let's keep going on with our subject, because I could go off onto a tangent. So sometimes the real issue we're having is systems, right? Or it could be leadership, or it could be pricing, or it could be boundaries. And I've seen owners spend thousands of dollars trying to solve problems that aren't actually financial. So before spending the money, before making that investment, ask yourself, what problem am I really trying to solve? Because money can't fix every problem that we have. It's really something to think about, right? Because we think the more money we make, the less problems we have. But it's not true. And you can talk to anybody any business owner who makes great money. Money is a necessity in life. Money buys us things, gets us places, helps us create impact. It feeds us. I mean, there's so many things money does. But if we have money and no system, no leadership, which is not something money can solve, the money's going to disappear. Think about people I think about my clients. I think about myself when we were making $750,000 and we were broke. We were living deposit to deposit or paycheck to paycheck, as they would say. I think about clients who were easily taking home over $1 million a year and they had zero money. They were negative thousands of dollars a month. That was a systems problem, not a money problem. You think about people who win the lottery, millions and millions, some tens of millions of dollars, and it's gone because there was no system in place. There was no thought process in place. Okay, so the next question you want to ask, am I looking ahead or only looking at today? So again, there's so much to business, to being a business owner, right? Business owners sometimes make decisions based on what's in today's bank balance. And our bank balance only tells us where we are at today. It doesn't tell us what's coming next week. It doesn't tell us what's due next Friday. It doesn't tell us that quarterly taxes are around the corner or our annual insurance premium that we've forgotten about is coming up. It only tells us the past, what we have done and where it stands at this moment in time. So healthy cash flow also comes from looking ahead, right? We can't just look at what we have today. Now, we use what we've done to see what we have done. Where was our money going? What was it doing? Then we look at today. This is where we're at today, but then we have to look forward. What's coming up? What's due? What's coming in? What are we expecting? And I know this could be super overwhelming, but this is something I help my clients with because it's super overwhelming. Cash flow forecasting is so important. We've talked about that. Like we can't steal from what's coming, right? We don't want to spend what we don't have, but we can forecast. We can look ahead at what we're expecting and when we're expecting it and plan and make plans. Because when we have data, when we have information, we can make decisions from facts, not from feelings, right? This can help us make decisions before we're forced to make them, which we talked about earlier. When we're in a heightened emotional state, our reasoning isn't so great. And we tend to make decisions that maybe aren't in our best interest because we didn't have clarity. Okay, then ask yourself, am I making decisions from fear? Okay, fear tells us to underprice. Have you ever been there before? Like, oh my gosh, I've been there. Okay, I've been there. If I look at, I know what these people can afford. They can't afford my real price. Let me undercut myself. That's fear. Fear tells us to take every single client. Oh my gosh. How many clients have I taken on? Have you taken on that were an absolute nightmare? Yeah. Fear. We're thinking, well, I need the money. I need to pay this. I need to pay that. And then we're taking the wrong clients. Fear will tell us not to raise our prices. People can't afford it right now. The economy's bad. This is down. Gas is up. Food's up. This is up. People can't afford it. Fear tells us to pay everyone before we pay ourselves. We got to pay this vendor. We got to pay this bill, that bill, subscription. I don't have anything left over to pay myself. Fear tells us to avoid looking at the numbers altogether. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, this brings back memories. Yes, fear will keep us from looking at the numbers, even looking at our bank account. It will just keep us swiping because there is overdraft and it'll just charge us, I don't know what they're at now, $34, $32 to just swipe my card, even if it doesn't go through. We cannot live like that, right? Fear is expensive. It's costing you everything, not just monetary. It's costing you your peace. It's costing you your impact. So when we make decisions from fear, we usually end up creating the very problem we're trying to avoid. Healthy cash flow comes from making thoughtful decisions. Now, I'm not saying every decision is going to be perfect because we're in a great space and, we're not under stress. Not everything's going to be a perfect decision, right? And we don't want to live in that either, that we're not going to make a perfect decision, right? It's not about that. It's about making thoughtful ones, clear ones. I don't know how long you guys have been listening to this podcast, or if you've listened to the one about my story or listened to ones where I've told my story, but really I've lived all of this. My husband and I were making more money than we had ever made before. From the outside, we probably looked successful. I felt successful from the outside. Let's just be real about that. People thought we were doing great. I didn't worry about money till I had to worry about money, which was often. But when I had it, I lived as if it was going to come in forever. But behind the scenes, I didn't have a savings. I didn't have any retirement. We had debt and we were making really good money, but we were not making good decisions with that. And at the time, I just thought we need to make more money. If we just make more money, I'll have more money to invest. I'll have more money to save. But that didn't happen. The more we made, the more I spent, or we spent. I mean, it was a team effort. The thing that changed our financial lives was not making more money. It was making better decisions. And that's really when everything started to change. Everything. And the way that we have been able to move through things that have happened in our lives has been so much different than when we had all this debt and something happened, or the no savings, or whatever, our previous financial life. We move through life differently. So here's something I would love for you to think about and to try. Before making your next financial decision, ask yourself 5 questions. Will this help me generate revenue? Will this improve profitability? Will this improve my cash flow? Will this reduce unnecessary risk? Will this move me closer to the business I'm trying to build? If the answer is yes, move forward. If the answer is no, or you're not sure, it might be worth taking a step back. Maybe you need to think about things a little bit more, think things through, bounce it off somebody, or just wait. Because I don't want to see you in the financial mess that I was. So the next time you catch yourself saying something like, I just need to make more money, I want you to pause and ask yourself, do I really have an income problem, or do I have a decision problem? And maybe it's a little bit of both, because the answer to those questions might completely change the way you lead your business. Cash flow isn't built by one big decision. It's built by hundreds of small ones. It's just like a habit, right? It's just like working out, losing weight. We can't lift 50 pounds today, but we can start with 10 and we can build up to the 50, right? So every invoice you send, every expense you approve, every price you set, every hire you make, every subscription you keep, every owner's draw you take, your cash flow is simply the story your decisions are telling. So if today's episode got you thinking differently about cash flow, then I want you to remember something. Your business doesn't change because you learned something today. I mean, we're in a world where knowledge is at our fingertips and it's not making things any better. The key is, and this is where wisdom comes in, right? This is what wisdom is. Our business is going to change because what we learned, we started applying. Knowledge is useless. It's knowledge applied that's powerful. Yes. And that's why I created for you my free ebook, Financial Literacy for Business Owners. I wrote it as simple as I could, and I wanted to make it understandable because these are things that were never taught to me on the financial side of running personal finances or business finances. So I'll walk you through the financial foundations every business owner should know. Okay, how to understand your financial reports, improve cash flow, all those things are in there. There's no confusing accounting terms, no judgment, none of that stuff. Just, it's free. Download it, use the link in the show notes, and you'll get this for free. It'll come right to your inbox. You put your name, your email in there. It gets delivered to your inbox. And then every week you'll also get business finance tips. I share practical strategies, real life examples, and of course, encouragement, because we all need that to help you build the life that supports, to help you build the business that supports the life you want, because that's what all this is for. And if today's episode encouraged you or made you think a little differently, I'd love for you to share it with another business owner. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, put a comment down. Thank you so much for spending this part of your day with me. I appreciate you so much. And remember, every financial decision you make is shaping the future of your business. So make them with intention, make them with confidence, and keep building your business on purpose. This podcast is dedicated to you and all the incredible women out there breaking chains, pushing through, and striving to make it all work. Your support truly means the world to me. Could you do me a favor? Be a gem and leave a review. It will help us reach even more women, making a bigger impact. Your feedback is invaluable, and I would genuinely appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ensuring you never miss an episode. Until next week, live a purposeful life in both your business and your finances.